Well, joining me now for a reaction on what to expect tomorrow with Amazon earnings, Kevin Cayley, Recon Capital Partners Chief Investment Officer, John Lonsky, Moody's Chief Economist, and Rob Morgan, Sethi Financial Group Chief Investment Officer. John, Amazon stock is up 25% over the past 3 months alone. It's on a tear, but there's something called momentum buying. Describe what that is and why average investors like me are so susceptible to it.
Momentum buying is when investors give short shrift to underlying fundamentals and instead buy a stock on the premise that everybody else is going to continue to buy that particular share.
Is what's happened to Amazon over the past 3 months an example of this?
Well, you could make the argument that whenever a share is fully valued vis-a-vis fundamentals, the stock price goes higher, you have to give credit to momentum buying. And at this point, I think investors have to proceed with caution. This is a market that is made for professionals. It's not made for amateurs.
And Rob, we saw that in the past 24 hours with Apple. I'm wondering if Amazon could be in for an Apple-like surprise tomorrow.
Well, certainly it's possible. I agree with John that this stock is priced for perfection. It's selling at 175 times next year's earnings, and no matter how fast you grow, you better not have an earnings miss. And to Amazon's credit, they haven't. But eventually, in the long run, they probably will have some kind of stumble, whether it's tomorrow or a future quarter.
Kevin, I don't know how many times I've had to say this about Amazon, is they've only had one quarter in years that's been profitable, and you just have to question whether a stock rise like we've seen over the past 3 months is worth it for a company that doesn't make any money.
If you're an investor, you need to ask yourself, why is it up 25% over the last 3 months and 11% over the last month alone? And the reason why is their revenue growth. They're actually dominating in the Amazon Web Services space. They are the gold standard for the cloud.
By the way, it was just announced that they could become the biggest retailer of clothing items in the world.
Yeah, that's
as a result of their sales online. So nobody doubts their market share, but their profit. Where's their profit?
That's their e-commerce platform where the margins are growing. You want to invest in a business that's reinvesting in itself and getting that growth. Who cares about the EPS? You want to focus on the revenue. They're actually not paying back shareholders with a dividend or doing buybacks. What they're doing is they're investing in their future. They are a small microcosm of the $1 trillion IT market, and they're growing revenue in the web services space, and it's to the detriment of IBM and other players. So you've got Microsoft and you've got Amazon who are growing in the cloud space.
Rob, do you trust that Jeff Bezos at some point is going to flip a switch and say, okay, I got all the market share I want, now it's time to get the profits in?
Yeah, I mean that is certainly a possibility that could happen, and I you know, in deference to the other guest, I have a hard time just completely throwing out the EPS. I mean, it is a good strategy they're following now, but whenever we start saying, oh, don't look at this fundamental, I have a problem.
I think I agree. Warren Buffett does too, by the way. John, Rob, Kevin, we got breaking news. We've got to leave it at that. Thank you, Melissa.